Welcome to my nightmare. That's right, 90s horror. Who doesn't love that? You know who else is experiencing a 90s horror? The Yankees.
Hey, look, our apologies, buddy, people. I don't know what Mike was doing, but I just finished watching the Yankees lose. Huh?
I was doing a podcast.
Anyways, I know. I just finished watching the Yankees lose the World Series. I really thought it was going to be Dodgers 6. But you know what? I'm glad I was wrong. People, welcome. Happy Halloween. At the time of this recording, happy Halloween, because tomorrow will be October 31st.
Which means tonight is Devil's Night.
Episode. Yeah, tonight is Devil's Night. And welcome to a
But we're not. But, you know, even though it's Devil's Night, I'm not going to dignify a certain terrible film by discussing it. No, instead, we're going to do a much better horror film. Wes Craven's New Nightmare, the 1994 film that is also the 10-year anniversary of the original Nightmare on Elm Street and takes place during, believe it or not, the Northridge Earthquake, which, incidentally enough, this movie came out in October 14th of that year. So not only we're doing it on the correct month, but also you have to consider like how short of a time they had to work in the whole earthquake thing into like writing, filming, and post-production. And yes, this movie features Wes Craven as a returning writer and director of the original Nightmare on Elm Street series, as well as this film based on characters with Wes Craven. And it stars the return of Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger, the man with the claw and the nightmarish face. And surprisingly himself, because Heather Langerkamp also comes back as herself. And John Saxon comes back as himself. And this movie had a budget of $8 million and made a box office of 19.8, which, you know, is a profit. Not as much as I was hoping it would make back, but it is a profit. So, you know, that's good. Leo, you good?
I would say this. Yeah, I'm good. I'm sorry. Internet's been wonky. We're in the shape-shifting, warping reality that Freddy Krueger is putting up for us right now. But you did all my work, for which thank you. Let's talk a little bit before we even get into this movie. Let's talk about some of the actors. Let's start off with our boy Robert Englund. Robert Englund, who is the definitive Freddy Krueger, and there's no disrespect to the guy who played Freddy the remake, Jackie Earl Gleason,
the guy who played Rorschach.
Yeah, Rorschach from Watchmen. No disrespect to him. He played a more I would say he played a more improved, sadistic version of Freddy that we have here. I think that's the best way to put it. He played a more sadistic version of this one, and that's a compliment because, in my opinion, this is the second best Nightmare on Elm Street movie ever made.
Let me guess. For you, the most favorite is either Freddy's Revenge or Dream Warriors.
God damn, you know me well. Yes, Freddy's Revenge is my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And then this movie, and then the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and then Dream Warriors, then Dream Master. And I honestly have a soft spot for Freddy's Dead because I love the music in that movie. And I love the cameos, like Roseanne Arnold, Tom Arnold, a very young Johnny Depp making this little cameo.
You know, I love that one episode of Goldberg's where Adam had to like learn to not be scared of Freddy Krueger because makeup, and then the mom got really upset that like she wasn't the one to help him deal with his trauma. So she has a nightmare where freaking Freddy chases her. Oh, Smooth's not here. Yeah,
but no,
yeah.
like Freddy Krueger is the Freddy, and this man and Robert Englund. Robert Englund is the definitive Freddy, and this man's filmography. He was in this movie. He was in a few other movies. Like he was more into like a supporting roles. He was in Stay Hungry, A Star Is Born, Big Wednesday. He was also in the miniseries V, the original V. And obviously he's played Freddy Krueger for years, including a very underrated show, Freddy's Nightmares, and Nightmare on Elm Street TV series, which lasted 3 seasons. People, the show I've watched some of the show, pretty good. It's a decent show. You should definitely check it out. I think it's on either Tubi or Pluto, if I remember correctly.
I definitely don't have Shudder, so if it's on Shudder, I wouldn't know.
The first one. It's not on Shudder. Yeah. I can tell you right now, it's not on Shudder. He was also in The Phantom of the Opera. He was in The Mangler. He was in 2001 Maniacs, which was a horror movie that took place in the South where people believed that it was still the 1800s.
So you mean not The Village?
Not The Village. He was also in Babylon 5. He was in MacGyver. He was in Masters of Horror, Mad TV, Sliders, Knight Rider, Walking Tall, the TV series. He was also a guest on Walker, Texas Ranger. I'm also naming these shows where he made a guest appearance. He was also in Chuck. He was in Chuck, an episode of Chuck. Yes, I knew I got you right there. And he played the voice of Scarecrow in Injustice 2. Literally playing himself, literally playing Freddy Krueger as Scarecrow, which, especially in the Injustice timeline, perfect. And am I forgetting anything else that he was in? I think I touched a lot of stuff. He was also
he did reprise his role in that episode of Goldbergs that I mentioned earlier.
The Goldbergs, yes.
Yeah.
One more. He was in a movie that I think we're gonna have to cover at one point. In my opinion, one of the greatest horror movies of all time. Freddy versus Jason. And unfortunately, Kane Hodder did not play Jason, but it's okay.
I'll say this. One thing that's on the subject matter, it's really important to mention that Robert Englund is considered one of the big 3 when it comes to horror, because he's one of the only 3 actors to play the same villain in more than 8 installments of the same franchise. The other 2 are Pinhead and Michael Myers.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, real quick, he was also in 2 obscure movies that I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to cover soon. He was in 2 obscure movies that I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we have to cover it. Maybe we'll start putting stuff on SoundCloud. First Buttery Show. Zombie strippers and strippers.
You know what's funny? I was rewatching that movie a few months ago. That movie was hilarious. Like, man, I love knives. What? I like guns too.
Real talk, Zombie Strippers may be the one movie that's so bad it's good that I potentially might give a 10 out of 10 to, because it's that it just goes straight bonkers with the
what I will say this though, that movie did feature Penny Drake, which means that yes, that film had Bayonetta in the film. So, got to put some respect on that. But also, let's be honest. Like, we could, fan speculate that Zombie Strippers takes place in the same universe as Escape from It in New York and LA.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Do you not remember the prologue of the movie?
Yes, I remember the prologue of the movie.
Exactly. What other movie had the exact same prologue? Escape from LA.
Anyways, so aside from that, we love you can tell, guys, we're big Robert Englund fans, and the next horror movie convention that's in LA, I think we should definitely be going there. And
Yeah,
hold
I'm
on,
glad I didn't get to go to Son of Monster though.
Mr. Ryan, you are on live. Say hi to the viewers.
We fucking did it.
We're streaming. Stop saying, don't do F-bombs. We're on YouTube right now. All right, bye, Ryan. Anyway,
yeah, he actually did go to Son of Monster.
Yes, he did. Anyways, but now let's talk about Heather Langerkamp. I always keep butchering her name.
Langerkamp.
And honestly, Langerkamp. She aged very well. I just want people to know that she has aged phenomenally. Mm-hmm. She's been in the Nightmare on Elm Street series since the first one. She was in Nightmare on Elm Street 1,
3, and 7.
Yeah, she was in Elm Street 3, and she was in New Nightmare. She was also in several other things, such as The Outsiders. Yes, Francis Ford Coppola's Outsiders. She played an extra. She was in Rumblefish. She was in Nickel Mountain. She was in Growing. She was also in Growing Pains. The Life of Chuck. She was in the new show The Midnight Club. And she's in several different TV shows. And she's doing it, Jesus, since Nightmare on Elm Street. She was on an episode of Jag. She was in Tanya and Nancy, The Inside Story. She was in Just the 10 of Us, Hotel, The Adventures of Bean.
Wait. When you say Nancy, The Inside Story, do you mean Nancy Thompson? The Inside Story? No. I'm joking. Oh, come on, it's Nightmare on Elm Street, and consider the fact that, like, what the subject matter of this movie is, you can't blame me for making that joke. Let's be honest.
My name's not Nancy. It's Heather. We're in talk about that. That was. Whoa. I love this movie, people. We also have Miko Hughes, who played the little boy. Who, I'm not gonna lie, the first 30 minutes of this movie, Dylan is doing things that I'm like, you know what? I can't make these jokes on Buttery's show, but I know Mike will understand what I'm going to say about certain 90s kids who be doing weird things. So, but Miko Hughes has been, he was a big deal in the 80s and 90s. He was one of the big child actors growing up. He was in Pet Sematary. He was pissing off Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop. He was in Apollo 13. He was in Spawn, Mercury Rising. He was a recurring role in Full House. And recently, I don't know, people won't know this, but
Tropic Thunder.
He was in Tropic Thunder. And
he played both babies. He played both babies from Baby Geniuses. Well, he did the voice, at least. He did the voice of the two babies from Baby Geniuses. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. You know, I don't care for that movie, but I miss Margot. Margot knew what was up. I love Margot.
Just to be fair, just to be clear, we're never reviewing Baby Geniuses, right?
I hope not. I mean, inevitably, we probably will, just to get it out of the way, but I'm not going to, rush that order. But I will say this, in all fairness, I've never seen Baby Geniuses 2.
Okay. But also, I want to give a big shout out to Miko Hughes, because Miko Hughes, his most recent project, he came back to portray Dylan in the web movie Dylan's New Nightmare on Nightmare on Elm Street fan film. And shout outs to the Horror Show channel. Y'all should definitely check out that movie. It's a short 34-minute movie. Highly recommend it. It takes place years after this movie, in which Dylan is in his late 20s, early 30s, and is now dealing with Freddy on his own.
And then he finds some runes to help him banish the demons from the dream world.
I thought you were about to reference Halloween 6. That's why I thought I was about to go bonk.
That's exactly what I did.
I can't really throw anything. I'm gonna throw my hacky sack at you.
See, like if I just name dropped Paul Rudd, it would have been too easy. But at least here, the cult thing would have made sense because, well, we've seen what happened in Elm Street 5 and 6. So,
oh man, those movies are rough. They're not. They're fun, but they're rough, especially 6. I'm going. Shouts to the Google.
I'm gonna be honest.
Also,
it's okay. I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead.
My only favorite scene from Halloween 6 was the pin drop scene.
We can't be friends. I'm done. This show's over. This show's over. I'm about to. I'm pulling a. Where's that button? Where's that button?
Don't worry about the button. You're here
with us. Here it is. You know what? I got a better one.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Anyways, John Saxon. John Saxon, may he rest in peace. God bless this man. We lost John Saxon back in 2020. This man who has always played Nancy Thompson, Nancy's dad, Heather Langerkamp's dad in the movies.
Let me say something about this guy.
Go ahead. You know what? You go ahead. Do it. You're muted.
Point to the moon.
There you go.
But do not focus on your finger or you will miss all the heavenly glory. That's right. Saxon, this guy was in none other than one of the greatest martial arts films of all time. Enter the Dragon. It ain't as good as Chinese Connection, but it is one of the most iconic films of all time. And yes, he plays an Interpol officer who's helping Bruce Lee's character fight the evil warlord who's holding the tournament to increase the size of his army. Basically, it's the premise for Geki Ranger's summer film.
I know it's something we're gonna do. We're gonna do a Bruce Lee month. We're definitely gonna have to do a Bruce Lee month at some point because I want to talk about Fist of Fury. That's my personal favorite.
Like I said, Chinese Connection's the greatest Bruce Lee film of all time, and needless to say, I cried at the end of Game of Death when the final scene of the final Bruce Lee film was just replaying that beautiful flying kick from the end of the Chinese Connection. That flying kick was amazing. And seeing it again for the second time, and sadly for the last time, that hits deep, man. That hits deep.
God bless Saxon. God bless John Saxon. I am pretty sure him and Bruce Lee are chilling in heaven right now, probably watching that scene and doing a Riff Tracks or Mystery Science Theater episode talking about it together. I was thinking the other day, and we'll talk about New Nightmare after this. We lost Maggie Smith last month.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if you believe in heaven is bumping right now. That Harry Potter Q&A is smacking. It is gas. Because you got a Coltrane, you got Rickman, you got both Dumbledores, and you got Maggie Smith talking to everyone up in heaven about their favorite parts of the movie, and are probably doing a whole film festival of their other famous movies right now. It is bumping. And I guarantee you that's the same thing going on with John Saxon and Bruce Lee right now.
What I want to see, all I want to see is Prince, Freddie Mercury, and David Bowie doing a trio together.
That is going to be very zesty.
While Jimi Hendrix plays lead guitar. And on drums, we got Neil Peart. And on keyboard, we got Liberace.
And then you got. Honestly, you're gonna have a duet between James Brown and Prince too. And then Rick James will come in all of a sudden like, no, let me tell you something. Heaven's a hell of a place. Let me tell you something, Prince. I said what I said about you on MTV, and there's only one way we're gonna settle this. Give me my mic.
Oh, and I'll say this: when James Brown's gonna start singing, you know who will make a guest cameo?
Who?
Chadwick Boseman dressed up as James Brown, so they can do a duet. And you know who'll be the biggest? Who will have the biggest fangasm in the front row seat? Carl Weathers.
You're gonna make me cry. Oh man, I'm gonna stop. Okay, we're talking about New Nightmare now. Tracy Milleroff, she played Julie, the babysitter. It turns out I completely forgot she did this. She was in Boardwalk Empire. Now, if y'all have not watched Boardwalk Empire, watch it. I don't know why you haven't watched it, but watch Boardwalk Empire. Okay. She was on that show. She was also in Scream.
Mission Impossible 3.
Mission Impossible 3. Yeah. Wasn't she Homegirl who died at the beginning of the movie?
Ashley.
Yes. I forgot. Yes. Thank you. So Tracy Middendorf has been. It's still getting work in Hollywood to this day. So God bless her, because she's doing TV, she's doing theater. I'm pretty sure she's starting to becoming like a writer or producer or something. But
she was on 24, Cold Case, the Lacey Peterson story. I don't know who Lacey Peterson is, but I assume it's Time Life Presents. She was in an episode of The Mentalist. She was in Scream, the TV show.
Yep.
As Maggie, and she was in Bloodline and Gone. And yes, if we're gonna go into theater territory, she was in Orpheus Descending, Summer and Smoke, Miss Julie, Old Times, Abundance.
Anyways, all right. Now let's get to the movie. So, first, I want to know why I love this movie. And we'll talk about it real quick. We'll briefly talk about it. I saw this movie when I was 13. I had just got into watching the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Okay. Because I don't, when it comes to having nightmares, I had a lot of nightmares as a kid. Okay. So Freddy Krueger, I never really wanted to watch any of his movies outside of Freddy vs. Jason, because I am prone to having, I was prone to having nightmares when I was a kid, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And let alone, especially as an adult, I've had like night terrors at one point. So watching horror movies, especially, and now understanding Freddy Krueger and stuff like that, and how Wes Craven got the idea of making Nightmare on Elm Street makes me feel better. And I saw this movie when I was 13. And keep in mind, this was the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie I watched. I didn't watch the other movies until later on when I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So this was my introduction into the Nightmare series.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
This is literally the last of the 7 films actually, that's not true. It's the last of the 9 films I've ever seen. Yeah, so for me, my first exposure was, the typical turn on TBS at 1 a.m. or TNT or USA, and you see Nancy. Don't call me Nancy. My name is Heather. Walk out of that corridor, and you see that one girl with the pigtails and the sweater going like, "Bye, Nancy," and it's like, and the rest is history. It's like, and the thing is, it's like I kind of turned off the movie like partway in because, I started watching it midway through. I knew Freddy had a reputation. This was after 2003 when I saw it. So like I don't know like what I would be in for. Although I'm not gonna lie though, if I watched the movie from the beginning, I probably would not. My younger self would not be as freaked out about it as he would have been if he started in the middle of the film. But I could tell, yeah, that one chick was Freddy Krueger, like the stripes and stuff. But I have to say, I did see what's it called, Freddy versus Jason, starting midway in that scene where Jason's in the dream world and they have that close quarters combat in the boiler room, like all the way. And I watched all the way through from there, and it's like, yeah, it's like you got him like being like right before the credits roll, but no, I'm like, and then I actually saw the remake from 2009, 2010. And I'm like, I appreciate what they're going for, but something about it just does not feel right.
Mm-hmm.
But then one time, I can't remember if it was 2019, 2020, 2021, but, on a particular October month, it might have been 2019 actually, on HBO app, they had all 7 films.
Yep.
Sadly, they don't anymore. Now they only have 1, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah,
because like they don't have 2 or 6, which I'm like, you left out the best movie and honestly the least good movie out of your catalog. That's like, if you guys have Shudder or if you have AMC Plus on Amazon Prime, you have anytime you can watch the first Halloween movie without it being Halloween, because for whatever reason, throughout October on Peacock and on Amazon Prime, you get all the Halloween movies. But then afterwards, you only get 1, 4, and 5. And if you have Paramount Plus Showtime on Amazon Prime, you get Halloween Resurrection, Halloween H2O, and Halloween Curse of Michael Myers. Those are the only ones you get. You don't get 2 and 3.
If you had cable, BBC America would sometimes in October do a marathon of the first 8 Halloween movies.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But no,
although sometimes they would skip the 3rd one. But yeah, so when I found out Elm Street was gonna be on HBO, all 9 films, naturally I watched through all of them in order. And honestly, before I did see Halloween 4. I did see Halloween 4 all the way through. But like I felt like I was missing a lot of context. But now it's like, okay, I see what's going on. Although it does feel kind of weird that in the 3rd movie we introduce this character like that Nancy sacrificed herself only for her to die in the very next film.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I have to say, like, 7 definitely has a special place in my heart because it's definitely like an interesting change of direction. I know Hercules had an episode like this where it's like, yeah, it was called Yes, Virginia, There Is a Hercules. Yeah. Where Hercules ends up in the real world where like he's a TV show character. Kind of like that episode of Spider-Man where like he defeats Spider Carnage. But yeah. So here we are. And what's even more interesting is that this takes place in 1994 during the Northridge Earthquake.
Yeah, let's talk about that right now. So after Heather wakes up from her dream where the technicians who are working on Freddy's new hand, because apparently in her dream, they're working on a brand new Nightmare on Elm Street movie. But instead of Freddy making the glove, he's making a cybernetic hand, and it's going to cut it off. The hand itself kills the 2 technicians, and then Nancy wakes up, and then that's when the earthquake is happening. And as Mike has said previously, this movie was released after this stuff that went down with the Northridge earthquake back in the early early 94. This is right before I was
1994, yeah.
Yeah, this is like right the year I was born is when the earthquake happened. And it was in LA, it was a huge deal because everyone really thought that this was going to be the big one, the big earthquake that we're still waiting and seeing when it's going to happen.
January 17th, magnitude 6.7.
Yup. Now, personally, again, I wasn't born yet. I was born after. I was if very correctly, Mike, you can fact check me. The Northridge earthquake happened sometime around January 94. It was early 94. January 17th, 1994.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't born until December of 1994. So
and I wouldn't come to the United States till the next year.
Yeah.
And incidentally, and we talked about this years ago, that in 1991 Terminator 2 came out and takes place in the year 1995.
Oh boy. Anyways, so Heather's husband is one of the technicians.
Chase.
He's a special Chase. He's a special effects extraordinaire and is working on a secret project for Robert Englund. We don't know about it until later. Heather is going to go on a talk show to talk about her career in Nightmare on Elm Street because apparently everyone, their mamas wants Heather Langerkamp to be in a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie, right? Mm-hmm. So, and their son Dylan is, we don't know what's going on with him until later on.
He's prone to seizures, possibly schizophrenic.
Yep.
We don't know all the details.
And Heather has a stalker. So the Langenkamp house is going bonkers. She cusses out her limousine driver. That's how bad it is. So, and because she thought he was a stalker, but he's like, "Man, I'm your limousine driver. I'm outside right now." Now, look, real talk. I would have given that role to someone who's like, "Ma'am, I'm your driver." You know who I would have given that role to? Either Don Cheadle, because this is right before he did Volcano, or imagine Marlon Wayne answering like, Miss Langenkamp, I'm your limousine driver. Now, if you want to cuss me out, that's fine. I'm just going to leave. And then click. That would be funny either way. So they're on the talk show. They're talking about the Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And Robert Englund comes dressed as Freddy, adoring all his fans.
I want to address the scene for a second.
Go ahead.
Because like, I love the way they filmed this scene. Because if you've watched the first 6 movies back to back like I have, you know that there's like this change in lighting, slight change in audio whenever there's a scene where like I was seeing that you might think you're in reality, might turn out to be a dream sequence. And given the fact that she lost a lot of sleep because of the earthquake and the nightmare she's been having, it's like part of you is like suspicious if she's starting to like shift into the dream world. And because you generally have an idea that Freddy will be in this world, it's like, is Freddy going to show up and tear things up? And then what happens? Oh, now presenting Freddy Krueger. And then Robert Englund, wearing the full makeup, like, just tears through a screen door. He's like, "Hi, Heather, let's do lunch." I'm like, given how campy Freddy was throughout the entire franchise, you still cannot completely tell, is this Freddy playing it up? Or is this Robert Englund doing a bit? You can't tell. Like, it's so well done. And it's like, and it could have went both ways too. Like, imagine like that scene like in the second movie where he shows up, no one does anything, and then all of a sudden he starts electrocuting people in the swimming pool. Yeah, that could have been a repeat of that. And heck, like if you have any background in Batman, like like the Joker, like in Dark Knight Returns, did something very similar to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, where he murdered the entire studio audience. Heck, it was even a joke on Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge. So, no, let me guess, you're going to destroy the world. Yes, I'm going to. No, I mean, I'm going to destroy the studio audience. Feel my wrath. We are so captain.
This movie does. I will say this. This movie does a really good job with the overarching theme of whether or not Heather is dreaming or is literally losing her friggin' mind. And we will get to that when we talk about Wes Craven, her dialogue with Wes Craven.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so I love the scene. It turns out it was the real Robert Englund playing himself. Yeah. And
he's a super sweet guy, apparently, in real life, too.
Yeah, he is a sweet guy. I wish I could meet him. And yeah, like he and Heather, like they're like best friends. They're like an uncle and niece type of relationship. They have this really cute dialogue where like they're like walking down this corridor, and yeah, and like later on in the studio, she has a meeting with the studio executive, and she gets some news that she's not quite keen on hearing.
Yep, and last time I checked, this man's name was Bob. You can tell me if you want. Was that Bob? What's his face? Weinstein.
I hope not.
I hope not too. For those who are wondering, why not? Because we're not going to talk about it. We're just not. You look it up. You could look it up. We're not going to talk about it here. So yeah, they're asking what he's talking to her saying, yo, Wes wants you in a new Nightmare movie. You want to do it? And she's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm okay doing TV shows right now. I'm good on doing Freddy. I gotta deal with at home, and I don't need Freddy in my life again. I'm good. Because apparently in
life, I'm just an actress and life is a nightmare.
Because in this reality, Heather does not want to do Nightmare on Elm Street. Because for whatever reason, aside from the stalker, she's actually scared shitless of Freddy. I don't know what happened in the reality of in this reality, what happened with the production and stuff like that, but she's genuinely afraid of wanting to do Nightmare on Elm Street again. Again, it might be because of the stalker that they've introduced and stuff like that when we find out about who the stalker is later, but it is what it is. So she gets home, Dylan's tripping again, right? Talking to himself. His pet dinosaur who was protecting him gets four slashes like Freddy Krueger. She calls her husband like, yo, I need you to come home right now. And her husband, who is very aware of what's the situation, he's like, honey, are you having those dreams again? He's like, yes. He's like, okay. And like, oh no, honey, did you get a phone call too? She's like, yeah. It's like, I'll be home in 3 hours because he's in Palm Springs.
Yeah, and even Dylan is having like a sequence where like he has like all these shards on the floor and they spell out the phrase "answer the phone."
Oh well, yeah, we'll talk about that. That comes later.
Yeah.
That comes later.
Yeah. I'm just saying, it's like there's a lot of stuff that is predicated on answering phone calls, and given we have Scream and the Ringu to deal with, it's like.
Real quick, someone asked how James Baber, hey, what's up, dude? How old is Robert Englund? I mean, he technically could do another movie and just use a stunt man. So Robert Englund's 77. I can tell you that right now. Number one. Number two, Robert can't. I mean, as much as we would all love Robert Englund, God bless that man, to come back as Freddy, his time is done, dude. Like.
Yeah, even James Earl Jones retired from playing Darth Vader months before his untimely passing.
We had the, you know what we need to review for in honor of Robert, in honor of our boy James.
Please don't be Coming to America.
No, dude. No. I mean, I would love to review for other reasons, like him and John Amos dying. We can do we knocked out two birds with one stone. But no, I was gonna say The Sandlot.
That's fair.
Being was so. After reading Hansel and Gretel to her son, we cut to Chase falling asleep on the road. Now, as someone who I can say, if you are feeling tired while driving, stop driving and pull off the road. This is coming from someone with experience, because I have done that on many occasions where I am uber tired and I'm driving and I start to nod off. Go to the side
of the road.
Either two things: take a nap or go get coffee. You're safer.
Although take a nap is better.
Yeah, you're safer taking a nap. Don't try to overdo yourself with coffee, okay? Freddy grabs Chase by the balls, literally, and also and Wolverines his ass all the way down his chest, and he dies off camera.
Ironically, he dies from crashing into like a road ledge.
You know what's also funny? You know who he was? Freddy's first victim, technically, in this movie. You know, he died the exact same way Nancy Thompson's friend died in the opening of Nightmare on Elm Street 1. Minus her getting thrown across the room and stuff. We'll get to that later on. So she finds out her husband's dead, goes to the morgue, to the autopsy, and the dude shows him like, hey, this is your husband. I'm really sorry for your loss. Here's the papers to sign off on it. And she's like, I want to see more. I was like, what? See more. He's showing him more. She throws a blanket and she sees the claws, pukes, and then leaves. We then cut to the funeral scene where we have cameos.
Saxon's
here. My girl Tuesday Night, who played Alice in Elm Street Dream Master, and also did the opening song to Dream Master, is in it. The boyfriend from the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie also makes a cameo. There are
the one that dies in prison.
Yeah, the one who got lynched. The one who got lynched in the prison cell, and I'll leave it at that. But yeah, and so an earthquake happens again, and we see Freddy drag Dylan into the coffin. But this isn't yo daddy's Freddy. Okay, this Freddy looks not like Robert, the Freddy we know. We'll get to that later. So and Heather grabs Dylan. Her dead husband's like, stay with me. Heather wakes up. She had hit her head on the coffin. And John Saxon, being a good daddy, she may not be his father. She may not be Heather's father,
but he was her daddy.
Definitely her daddy. Cleans her up, and then they leave. Right. Days pass. And outside of Dylan having these episodes where he is sleepwalking, where he is watching scenes of the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and at one point tried to slice Heather with makeshift Freddy Krueger claws he used using tape and steak knives. She calls up Robert Englund, and after getting us another stalker letter, and she's like, yo, I've been having dreams about Freddy and stuff, but it's not like
and Englund's a painter here.
Yeah, Robert Englund's I think Robert Englund is a painter in real life too. So they actually coexisted with reality. Robert's like, wait, you've been having dreams about Freddy too? Like, yeah, why? It's like, does he look a little more darker, a little more twisted? She's like, yeah. She doesn't.
Does it look like the knives are part of his bones instead of just being on a glove? And he also has an additional a blade on his thumb, which he didn't have in the first 6 movies. Yeah. Welcome to the 90s.
Welcome to the 90s where the play is play. Anyway. But no, and as And Heather wants to see Robert because she's like, listen, I think we need to talk in person. I don't think we should be doing this on the phone. Robert, who is genuinely shocked on what he's painting and what both him and Heather were describing, was like, Nancy, today's not a good day. Let's talk tomorrow morning. I gotta get off right now. Right? Robert looks at this painting. I wish we had the painting, because it's genuinely one of the scariest parts of the whole movie, in my opinion, because you have 3 of the victims who, honestly, let's face it, this is Freddy playing the Langerkamps like a damn fiddle, of Nancy, Dylan, and Chase with his brand new claws.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that is genuinely scary. And Mike, I don't know if you've ever had this. Have you ever had a dream where you can describe it to a T and then imagine it and see like a straight up image of it in your head?
Kind of.
I've had many of those dreams before. And it is fucking scary. Like, there's a reason I love this movie, because it really dives into not just actual sleep disorder, actual mental health disorders, but it dives into your deepest fears. And one of mine is, if I can remember a dream so vividly and describe to you what I saw, it will send chills down your bones.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, but I've been talking too much. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So Nancy even consults with Wes Craven about what's going on, because Wes Craven plays himself in this movie, and so basically it turns out that there's an evil demon in real life, known as the Entity, and basically, in order to keep it locked and dormant, story writers, i.e. Wes Craven himself, has to keep it trapped in the form of a script. So he has to make the Elm Street movies in order to keep it sated. And of course, that's also part of the reason why the movies got increasingly silly, because the bonds of the seal kept getting worse and worse. So when they finally killed Freddy Krueger in the final movie, Freddy Krueger's Last Nightmare, they basically, it allowed the demon to live free, because apparently the continued existence of Freddy Krueger in fiction keeps Freddy Krueger from like running rampant in real life. So now Wes Craven has to make a new movie to prevent the Entity from existing, but for some reason, it hinges heavily on Heather Langerkamp reprising her role as Nancy Thompson in the new movie. Why? It's not quite clear, but apparently only a character with Nancy's credentials is what was like the first okay, so basically she was the first to humiliate Freddy Krueger in the first movie, which causes the Entity to go after her, because Heather was what gave Nancy her power. She manifested Nancy's power and purity or whatever as the one thing that could defeat Freddy Krueger and subsequently the Entity. So now the Entity's going after her. And as for what the son is doing, what's going on with her son, that is not quite clear.
What is Dylan doing? Because let me tell you something. We completely forgot the fact that
dead people, red rum, I see dead people.
Dude, let me tell you something. This kid, we forgot to talk about the scene with her and John Saxon.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay. So let's get right into that. So, what I love about Saxon is he and Nancy are practically father and daughter in real life, not just in the fictional world of the first and third film. But while they're talking to each other at the park, Dylan climbs up the highest point of one of the attractions at the park, hoping that if he jumps, his dad will catch him or something like that. So basically, suicide watch. But by the way, don't forget to call the hotline if you need it.
Yeah,
because obligatory reference to the hotline because this is not a joke. But yeah, no, but the scene in itself was rather ridiculous, unfortunately. And that means we have to take the kid on suicide watch. The kid is being manic, and of course the doctors need to evaluate him. He's inside an oxygen tent, and then because freaking Nancy's being hysterical, they want to do a psych evaluation of her as well. And because freaking he needs his teddy bear, she goes home in order to
teddy bear. Rex, damn it! You put some respect on Rex.
Rex is still a teddy, though.
Oh, did we mention Freddy Krueger popping up finally?
Kinda.
Okay, real quick. So yeah, after she first dropped Dylan off at the doctor, and she realizes that something's going on. You need to fight it. I'm going to grab Rex because he starts signing with the bed. Because she you want me to grab Rex? He's like, yes. He had a sleeping pill in his mouth to relax, but he spits it out after the doctors leave, and then after talking to Robert that was an amazing not Robert Wes, which was an amazing scene as a whole. She is back at home. She's reading about sleep disorder. She's reading about schizophrenia, how it can be passed down, and then the TV turns on by itself. She turns it off. It comes back on and talks about the two technicians that her husband was working with to make the new design of Freddy Krueger's mask. They're both dead, just like in her dream when they both died. An earthquake hits again, and the lights go out. She goes into the closet because she was trying to save herself from the earthquake, and she hears something. It's Freddy, but again, it's not your dad. It's Freddy. This is the real Freddy. And shout outs to James Baber, who is at this point becoming our horror movie expert. Freddy Krueger's glove was designed and constructed by Lou Carlucci for Freddy's first appearance in 1984. Yeah, so this Freddy's claws that you see in this movie were the original design of what they wanted for Freddy Krueger in the original Elm Street movie. This is his claws. This is the original design, and how he looks was also the original design for Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. He was even supposed to wear a trench coat in the original design, but they got rid of it. But which brings us to the hospital scene where he actually does have a trench coat.
So Nancy goes back to the hospital to check on her boy, right? He starts puking after she knocks out because he's convulsing. The black doctor who's been telling Nancy, "You going crazy, woman. Your son's in danger, woman. Have you been taking drugs? It's the 90s. Did you?" No, I'm not gonna make that joke. I'm not gonna make that joke. No, no, we're not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. We're gonna suck the evil out like we're draining a viper, and she's about to kill this kid, but it was all a dream. Nancy is losing. Also, she got cut, looking like she was cut by Freddy. Nancy's losing it, and Julia is there to watch over Dylan. They take Dylan to a separate room. Julia follows them while security and the black doctor take Heather into another room and saying, "Yo, we're gonna give you some pills. We're gonna give you the medicine.
Psych evaluation.
We'll put him in child protective services for a little bit. We know you're not an unfit parent." And she's like, "Excuse me?" And I'm gonna say this right now. This movie honestly hits me more now that I'm a father, because I'm sorry, you're going to do what with me? You're going to take my kid away from me? Excuse my God French, but did you just threaten me with Child Protective Services right now? Meanwhile, they inject Dylan with a sedative to help him go to sleep. Julie is trying her best to keep him awake, and I'm over. And as an adult, I'm over here like, girl, he gone, you dead. If the whole idea was to keep him awake, so Freddy doesn't come, you dead. You didn't do your job right, except knock that homegirl out, which was beautiful. And even Nico, he was like, oh, reaction felt genuine. So Julie's trying to keep Dylan awake and keep him. And all of a sudden, Trenchcoat Freddy, as I like to call him, Trenchcoat Freddy, comes in and goes to work. Hey, Dylan, ever play Skin the Cat? Uses force choke to neck snap Julie after stabbing her and then dragging her all around the room. And the doctors see everything going down and then drops Julie. Dylan runs. Nancy tries to find her kid. And throughout the whole movie, she's like, hey, remember, our house is just past this freeway. Literally right across the freeway. You could not miss it. We get to a scene that gave me anxiety like a mother. But damn, those special effects did not age well. Oh my God, that blue screen, Mike.
The crossing the street scene. Also, I noticed that like they play that concept a lot of like the whole crossing the highway scene. Like it's like throughout various points in the story, someone has to cross from one side of the highway to the other side. And no matter which side you go, you cross, it's always harrowing for some reason.
Which freeway do you think that was? I honestly think that was the 101.
I would have to say, considering where it is, I would have to say it's either the 405 or the 5 freeway. Because like it needs to be like near some like mountainsides. The 101 is too metropolitan in both directions.
What about the 210?
210 is. I'm trying to remember where the 210 even is.
So, I think if I remember correctly, the 210 it's going deeper and deeper into the Pasadena and Glendale area. If I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, no. Like it has to be somewhere with like decent amount of mountains on one side.
Then the 5 freeway.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it's either the 405 or the 5 because the 405 when you go past the 118, like. Yeah, it's like when you go towards the Reagan Library, there's a lot of mountains.
What if it's the 118 going west? I didn't think about that.
Could be.
This is such a Californian thing.
Speed 3.
So Freddy manifests. He is now now in the reality. And he's coming in like he's Zeus, grabbing Dylan in a really crappy special effects blue screen and is dangling him around. And Nancy is seeing all of this happen as she is crossing the freeway. Dylan doesn't die, but Nancy gets wrecked. She got hit harder than John Wick getting ran over in John Wick 2 and John Wick 3. She is just getting ragdolled like John Wick right now. Mm-hmm. So, and for whatever reason, she does not need an ambulance. Mm-hmm. We'll get to the reason why. So she makes it back home. John Saxon's there. Dylan is there. John pulls Heather to the side. And as he is talking to her, Freddy has finally found the gateway to get into our reality. The entity, Freddy, not Freddy Krueger, the entity, Freddy, has found his way to get into our reality. He is here. This is an Avengers level threat at this point. And John is talking to Nancy. Yes, John is talking to Nancy, not Heather. Nancy.
Nancy, you're going insane.
My name is Heather. And we got one nice little hint of Nancy becoming part of this reality. She has that Rogue strike. You know how Rogue has that one strip of white hair? Well, Nancy has that too, because she had it in the original Elm Street movie. She now has it in her hair now as well. And even Julie's like, "What happened to your hair?" And she's like, "Nothing, don't worry about it." But she is now seeing that strip of hair. And as John is continuously referring to her as Nancy, and we're now sucked into the original Elm Street movie set, because you see that he has his badge and gun, because the last time we saw Mr. Thompson in Nightmare on Elm Street was Dream Warriors, and he got washed by a freaking skeleton of Freddy Krueger. Is getting into his car and says, "I love you, Nancy." And Nancy, Heather, now realizing that all of reality just got warped on some Doctor Strange crap, says, "I love you too, Daddy." And as he drives away, as the camera pulls back on Nancy, we're back on the original house from A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep, 1428 North Genesee Avenue.
And all I have to say for this scene, this masterful scene in which amazing twists and swerve, all I have to say is this. Shots are U.S. champion LA Knight. Anyways, Nancy now, Heather now playing Nancy, has to go save her son because her son's now disappeared again. So, and she starts to see the pills that the doctor was trying to give to the boy. She starts taking it one by one because she realizes, I am now in Nightmare on Elm Street. I gotta start taking these. I gotta now play the part of Nancy to get my son, as Wes Craven said to me earlier that day.
It's a real Yu-Gi-Oh moment if you think about it, because it's like when Yugi and Atem have to embrace each other in order to get their higher game, so too must Heather and Nancy embrace each other to get the higher dream. And of course, as Shia LaBeouf would say, don't let your dreams be dreams.
Just do it. So Nancy, and funny enough, what I love about, real quick, I don't think we talked about this. When Wes Craven was talking to Nancy about she needed to make the choice to play to Heather to play Nancy again and stop the entity, on his computer, on his little Macintosh 90s computer, you see the script
of the movie we are watching.
We do not talk about Wes Craven enough outside of talking about Scream. Wes Craven truly is a master of horror.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about this movie is honestly the prelude to Scream, because this movie is extremely meta. Like the whole meta horror.
This actually was intended to be the prelude to Scream, because high key, this is what Elm Street 3 was originally supposed to be. Like this premise, this very premise about the whole thing was a movie all along, but now the characters from the movie are like coming out. Like that was supposed to be the original script for Elm Street 3, but then it got scrapped because of studio rejection. But then because it's the 90s, it's like they became more lenient and humored the idea, especially since, we basically in a position where we have to reboot the franchise. But because like this movie was like did relatively well, like on a what's it called, aggregate level, like maybe not necessarily like in a box office level, because just slightly above 200%. It's successful, but it's not a smash. Like when movies get 300%, 600%, 4,000%, but but aggregately, like between word of mouth and even Roger Ebert giving it his high praises, that got the studios to let up and actually humor the idea of actually doing Scream, which would become like the premise for Elm Street 3, like where like people who already know how to survive a horror movie because they've watched horror movies, they've been in horror movies, they know all the rules, and even that won't save them from being the victims of a horror movie.
Yeah. And so
this movie crawled for Scream to run.
Yeah, exactly. Without this movie, Scream would have never happened. We wouldn't have an amazing first movie. So it was okay. Second movie, a mid third movie, a overhated fourth movie, a mid fifth movie, and the second best movie in the franchise, which is the sixth movie. So
I still stand by the idea that the seventh movie should just be the twins, Gail and Kirby, going to a stab convention, and the Ghostface killer is actually 7 people cosplaying as Ghostface, and because everyone at ScreamCon is dressed up as Ghostface, everyone is a suspect.
If we do that, what I think the Meeks twins should come back, but they're not really in the. They're just there for like cameos. They're not there for the plot. They don't die either because we got to keep them alive. But they should totally
honestly
be in that movie.
The twins were the best part in the last 2 movies. Like, I want to keep just them and Kirby because I love Kirby in the 4th one and I love Kirby in the 6th one. And while it's Gail has to be in it because Gail has to be in all 7 films. Gail's like literally the one thing holding all 6 movies together, soon to be 7. But recently, Neve Campbell confirmed that she will be showing up in the 7th movie. So it's like, yeah, we're gonna have to put Neve Campbell into the 7th one too. But if it's just Gail, Kirby, and the twins, I'm happy. We just need those 4 characters.
Yeah. No disrespect to Neve Campbell. I love me some Neve Campbell. Don't get it twisted. But our idea of this movie would just outshine her. I'm sorry. Gail, Kirby, and the twins kicking ass at StabCon or StabbyCon. Yes. Have one of, and guess what? The final boss Ghostface would finally be the reveal that Stu was still alive.
He was comatose the entire time, and he thoroughly studied every Ghostface ever. Because actually, you know what's funny? You know what's really interesting? As much hate as we give the 3rd movie, and rightfully so, you got to give it credit where the only time where we have a singular Ghostface, just one Ghostface, no accomplice, has the highest kill count out of all the Ghostface.
Yeah. No. Hold on, real quick. Wait, what? He was comatose? No. So, James, our idea for Scream 7, because everyone keeps thinking Stu Macher's alive. Hell, I think Stu Macher's still alive. Would be for him to set up Scream 7, where there's 7 other killers, and they all.
That was my idea, by the way.
Yes. Hell, I would have a cameo of a celebrity. Have Kane Hodder be one of the Ghostface killers, and be like
Channing Tatum.
No. Have Danielle Harris be one of the scream.
Yes. Danielle Harris and Channing Tatum. And we need Channing Tatum because when he reveals himself, it's like, now I'll tell you what, I'm gonna make a name for myself.
Like, you know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm gonna make a name for myself.
It's like, and like his motivation could have been like he was like a relative of Cotton or something, and like he got pissed at someone related to Cotton or something. I don't know.
I mean, when you have a name like Cotton, it sounds like you probably got a few nieces and nephews. Just saying, in deep South.
And you know what would be the best part about like Channing Tatum being related to Cotton though?
What?
Because Cotton played Sabretooth.
Hold up, we're almost done with the movie. So Heather manages to go into the demon world, in the dream world, Freddy's dream world. Finds Dylan, fights Freddy. Freddy's about to eat Dylan. Opens his mouth like a freaking cartoon character.
Like something you would see out of Elm Street 5.
Yeah. Stretches his tongue out to try and kill and try to eat Nancy. They cut his tongue, close the boiler that he's in. He burns up, dies. They teleport back into reality.
And fall off the bed.
There's nothing left except Wes Craven's script to this brand new Nightmare on Elm Street movie, which so happens to be where they just came out of. Yes, and again, once again, people, Heather was playing Nancy, not knowing she was playing Nancy, not knowing that she was in a reality somehow, some way, of Wes Craven's brand new Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Hence the reason why they call it A New Nightmare. And,
that's one of the things I appreciate about this movie, because like when I mentioned the talk show scene, it's like you don't know if it's like a movie, you don't know if it's a dream, you don't know if it's reality. That's 3 layers instead of the typical 2 layers. Oh, reality, dream, reality, film, dream. And
so that letter says to say, Heather, thank you for having the guts to play Nancy again. And something else I can't remember. Kisses, Wes. Now here's the question. And then the movie ends with her reading the script to Dylan of the new Nightmare movie, because she's not afraid to talk about it anymore. And the movie ends. Here's the question, though. If this was her being in a completely different reality, is Julie still alive? And is her husband still alive? That is the big question I have after watching the movie. Because if you're telling me that she literally just saved her son and got out of the movie, like finished the movie and was back in reality, is Chase and Julie still alive?
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to find out in the 8th movie. At least you would if the movie actually existed.
This actually makes me wonder now, because I gotta look back. I gotta rewatch Dylan's New Nightmare now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the end of the movie, guys. I'm gonna go first because I'm probably the bigger. Actually, I think we're equal when it comes to being an Elm Street fans. I love this movie. I mean, yes, it does have problems. The concept of whether or not at the end of the movie is Nancy back in reality, and are the people who died in that movie, are they alive now? It's unanswered. I kind of wish that it got answered. I know it's a 90. I know it's supposed to be like no, like it's got to be an open ending. I'm like, okay, whatever. I want some closure. Number one. Number two, the effects to this movie did not age well. I'm just gonna throw it out there. unfortunately, it suffers like some 90s movies with special effects. Like,
I mean, I would say the practical effects were good, just not
the practical effects are great, but
just not the digital.
The digital effects is what did not age well.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, and I'm pretty sure we'll be reviewing this movie at some point. Mercury Rising and The Faculty. Both those movies, great fun 90s movies, 90s horror movies. They did not age well when it came to the CGI, though.
Mm-hmm.
We got to review The Faculty at some point. That, God bless Josh Hartman. That man went from that movie to Halloween H2O to being in an Oscar award-winning movie with Oppenheimer. God bless Josh Hartman, dude. But yeah, no, I think Heather did a fantastic job. Her, and my son agrees too, her chemistry with John Saxon, as well as and the dialogue between her and Wes and her and Robert, just chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's like you could really see the rapport of the real life actors in their roles. Or like if these four people hated each other in real life, their acting skills did a fantastic job at masking it, because all four of them felt like family. Like Saxon legit felt like they had a legitimate father-daughter relationship and not just an on-screen parental relationship. Englund and Craven both felt like very concerned and loving uncles to her. Like freaking Julia felt like she was like a genuine younger sister / older niece type of situation. And like you could feel like a sense of like familiarity, and like props to the actors, the directors, the writers for pulling off the character interactions. And let's be honest, that's like one of the best parts of it. Freddy, it's like I would have to say the one downside of this movie is how like Freddy is not played off as a joke, like a character, because honestly, like what made the original 6 movies great was the fact that like the movies were silly. Like Freddy, like he's just like camping around, like he's like busting jokes. He's hilarious that you don't even mind the gory ways he kills all of his victims and stuff. I mean, like you have one chick that turned into a cockroach, god damn it, and another person that was eaten and turned into a pizza. And I'm not just referencing Power Rangers, like that's like that legit happened. That's some good Merrick soul. Nom 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 nom. But yeah, no, it's like, but I don't mind this like a darker version, because they did establish that this is not actually Freddy. This is an entity that took the visage of Freddy and then bastardized it. Which low key kind of makes me wish that in an 8th movie you would have Freddy come back as a good guy to fight the entity. How's that for a film? Kind of like Terminator 2, but like with Freddy Krueger, where like Freddy Krueger must team up with Heather in order to defeat the entity.
You know what? We had that. Real talk, we kind of had that. It was the episode of South Park where they made fun of Inception and Nightmare on Elm Street, where apparently Freddy Krueger is a real person who was burned and has the powers to go into people's dreams, and you find out that he was a genuinely good guy, and the only reason why he killed those kids throughout his being labeled a child murderer was because these kids were also Russian agents. It was the Cold War.
see, like that's the thing I appreciate about the remake from like 2010 is like is that one line where it's like he doesn't want to kill us because we lied about him. He wanted to kill us because we told the truth. Because one thing I like about this one Robot Chicken skit is like how like Freddy became Freddy. It's like his daughter made him like a really uncomfortable sweater, so like he has to wear it. Now he's super itchy, and then so he makes like a claw thing to scratch his back. but then but then it got stuck on his hand, and then his daughter got him a hat, but the hat is stuck to his head, and so because it got super glued or something, I can't remember. And then it's like he goes to the school fair where she got those items, and then accidentally everything got set on fire, which is why his face got burnt. And then those three spirits from like the sixth movie are like, Freddy, you are being of absolute hate. Become our agent. It's like, I don't care, just get this off of me.
Those damn Dark Souls. We're gonna have to talk about Freddy's Dead at some point. Mm-hmm. And again, not the biggest fan of the movie, but I love the soundtrack. Shouts to the Goo Goo Dolls. That movie introduced me to the Goo Goo Dolls. I'm Awake Now, in my opinion, is a very underrated gem. If you have not heard I'm Awake Now by Goo Goo Dolls, go do it. Anyways,
I would say the third movie was introduced me to Dokken.
The third movie introduced me to Patricia Arquette. I don't know if that's good or bad. Also, Lawrence Fishburne I already knew about. But it introduced me to Patricia Arquette, which then led to me watching True Romance and Boardwalk Empire. So I guess that's
but I do like me some Dokken. I even have, Back on the Attack album, which features the song Dream Warrior. So yeah, definitely check out Dokken. They have 10 albums, I think. I have Tooth and Nail, Lock and Key, Back on the Attack. Those are just some of the albums that I have. What were some other ones I have? Because I know
about that real quick. Why do you think about that? What's your score?
This movie is definitely a 9. Definitely worth a rewatch. Oh, Shadow Life and Dysfunctional. Those are the other two albums I was thinking about. Definitely check out Dokken. But yeah, no, it's a 9. It's a great horror romp that deals with how fiction affects reality. I know it's even a talking points. Like, do you Heather? Do you let your children watch your movies? No, they're horror films. I don't want to traumatize my kid, and yet Dylan is seemingly only calm when he's watching Elm Street. Kind of like that baby who only listens to heavy metal in the film Shoot 'Em Up with Clive Owen. Yeah, good times. But
you know what it reminds me of? And then now we're bending reality. You and I, we both follow Danielle Harris on Instagram at Horror Gal. Shouts to Danielle Harris. She showed her son.
Yeah, like mid-COVID, she was like showing her son's Halloween 4 and 5. It's like, who's that little girl? That's me, baby. That was so cute. Me. You were a little girl? Yeah. You look scary in that clown outfit.
I cannot wait for when I show Jonathan Pocket Dimension. Anyways, I would give the movie a 9 out of 10 as well. I wholeheartedly disagree. I love Freddy in this version.
No, I don't hate this, but it's like no. What I'm saying is, it seems off character, but that's because you have to remember that this is not actually Freddy. But also with that in mind, I do like the campiness of the original Freddy. I'm not hating the Entity. The Entity is an amazing villain. Just I like Freddy more.
No, I get you on that. Mm-hmm. Anyways, let's read some of these. Y'all have been tearing.
What score did you give it?
Real quick, we're gonna read some of them because we do have to get out of here. If you are watching this on the East Coast time, shouts to y'all. By the way, if you're watching this from New York, how you doing? LA Dodgers are the new 2024 World Series champions, baby! Woo! I love LA. Anyways,
I love how we actually did Naked Gun earlier this year.
Biko Huge, stop. Hello, gentlemen. Hello. I would love to see them do another Freddy movie, even though he won't play Freddy again. Yeah, I would love Robert to come back as Freddy, but that time has passed. Now, Kane Hodder, if you can actually a beefed up Freddy would be dope. Yo, Kane Hodder, let's put the hockey mask aside. Let's give you some claws, boy.
Or both.
Or both. I mean, he did play Freddy in a cameo for Final Friday. Jason Goes to Hell. I love all the Freddy movies. What's up, palettes? I love your art. By the way, I love your thumbnail. They all were good movies and can't really pick one in particular. I like them all. Okay, so they were just.
Yeah, it's mostly talking. Let's see. How old is Robert Englund? I mean, he technically
77.
could do 77. Yeah. Let's see. What do you think about Jason versus Freddy movie? Well, we're gonna have to review that
at some point. I love the movie. It's fun. It's not a great movie by any shape of the world, but if you are a Freddy and Jason, if you're a Nightmare and Friday the 13th fan, you will love this movie. And I'm both. I'm more of a fan of Jason than I am Freddy, because in my personal opinion, I don't think Jason is a bad guy. He is not a villain. It's just, I'm sorry, y'all keep coming to this man's domain, even after every single person tells you stop going to Camp Crystal Lake.
Plus, he got bullied a lot by the other counselors, just like Angela.
And his mama was trying to protect her baby boy. And you have a bunch of camp counselors have premarital sex, drinking, smoking the ganja.
Which is more than I could say for Angela's auntie.
Exactly. And then when his mama obviously went crazy because her baby boy died. So what the hell do you think? What was going to happen? Stop going to this man's domain. Stop going to Crystal Lake. Don't start nothing. Will be nothing. Jason is not a bad person as long as you stay away from his hood. Am I wrong?
Well, depends. I mean, it's like saying Colin Farrell from Fright Night is a decent person as long as you don't go to his house. Never mind the fact that he's a vampire who keeps bodies in his basement.
No, that's nothing like that. I'm sorry. Jason would be peaceful. He just wants to chill and make Camp Crystal Lake his home again. And you have all these damn teenagers who are played by 20-year-olds coming in, smoking, drinking, banging, having premarital sex with no condom, people. There are movies where they take it off.
Hey, I'm curious because I know that you fell behind at one point, but have you ever watched season 9 of American Horror Story?
No, I haven't.
1984, season 9, fantastic season. You got Richard Ramirez as one of the two main villains, so you basically have Michael Myers versus Jason Voorhees.
I will definitely watch it now. You know what? It's how. You know what I might do? I might watch that tonight. I don't need to have seen the previous seasons of American Horror Story. I stopped after a hotel.
No. The only relation 1984 has to any of the previous seasons that Richard Ramirez just happens to be one of the residents of the hotel on Halloween. That's literally the only connection. But then again, so is Jeffrey Dahmer and all the other serial killers. But
okay. Anyways, let's close this up because my son's calling for me. People, thank you so much for watching. Mike, where do people find you?
You could find me on Instagram at Boken_Kabuto, and you could find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. Why are you not, bro?
I thought you did it. Say it. Do it again.
Instagram at Boken_Kabuto and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto.
Y'all can find me on Instagram at @therex_Fox, Twitter X Rex_Fox, Twitch when I jump back into it as well. Yeah, that's about it. And coming soon, we will be. Oh wait, I love how Pablo said Speed 3 when we were talking about the freeway. Speed 1 was the Californians as an action. Oh my god. Oh, the Californians. I love it. I love it so much. Anyways, like I said, guys. And also, if you are new to the Buttery Show, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe to this channel on both Facebook, our YouTube, and our Instagram at the Buttery Show. And be sure to follow our sister channel, the Morphin Network, where we talk all Power Ranger content, Power Ranger, Super Sentai, Ultraman, Kamen Rider.
We literally just did Kamen Rider Gov episode 9 just before doing this podcast. And also, we do have more Power Morphicon interviews coming up, so definitely stick around for those. And yeah, and also, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, one more thing. If y'all ask, we might do that stupid ass Power Ranger 2B TV movie that just came out.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
That'll be the day where we are all wasted. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, this is Leo. This is Mike. We're all your children now. And coming soon, we'll be reviewing The Crow 2024.
No.
AKA starring Darby Allin.
No, I survived Devil's Night in real life. I don't want to.
Until then, ladies and gentlemen, happy holidays.